Hey everybody, it's Joe, Redneck Collector, coming at you with another video. And I am excited to do this one because I haven't done one of these in a while. It is an SGC grading reveal. Now I know some of y'all that watch my channel are not big graders, and that's okay. I'm not mad at you for it. I hope you're not mad at me for being excited about this, but I am excited. This order took forever. I dropped it off before Thanksgiving. It got checked in on December 2nd by SGC, and I did not get it back until... I didn't do the math on this, but I've had it for like 4 days, 5 days, something like that, 4 days. So it took, basically, after they checked it in, it took about 2 months to get it, back. So it is bittersweet because I had some disappointments. In fact, one huge disappointment out of it. But overall, I'm still ecstatic. I know that seems crazy to you all, and you're probably thinking, Joe, why do you put yourself through it? But I still enjoy it. I sent 20 cards, and 12 of them came back better than what I expected. So you can't beat that as far as a percentage, because I try to be, I think I'm usually pretty good at my pre-grading, but hey, you know what? I was wrong in the right direction this time. And speaking of which, by the time you see this, you may have already seen my other video where I did a collaboration with Steve over at Vintage on Vintage and John at John P. Collects, another couple guys that collect very similarly to me. They like to grade with SGC. I had this idea for a collaboration, and we put it together, and we kind of did at least part of our orders. We did some pre-grading of each other's cards, and then put it all together in kind of a after grading video. So check it out if you haven't already. It was a lot of fun to do with those guys. So appreciate them collabing with me on it. We may do more in the future, but it turned out pretty cool, right? So if you've watched that, you've seen 4 of these cards already, and you're going to know what I did on that, but the other will be a surprise. So just really excited about it. In fact, so excited, I really wanted to rip off another order before I even did this video. I wanted to send another one out because I got a stack of cards here, a huge stack that I think is grading worthy, but you know what? I probably wouldn't see them back before Strong Dependence, and I was thinking, you know what, I would really like to have some of these back, but I don't think that's going to happen, so I may just sit on my money that I would spend on the grading and save that for the old Strong Dependence show and put together a big grading order, later this spring after I get back. But you know what, who knows, I may send in a small order because I'm pretty happy with how these turned out, and I think I will probably continue to grade with SGC as long as I have submissions like this, even though there's one huge disappointment that I'll get into at the end of this video. But like other videos I've done like this, you'll see the video that I shot 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it's been now, in November, of my pre-grading of these cards, and then I will splice in the after video to see what they look like when they came back from SGC. So appreciate you all checking this one out, and I hope you enjoy it. For those of y'all that are maybe not anti-grading, but just focus on the cards. There's some beautiful cards, and that's really all that matters, right? So thank you to everybody for watching this, and let's have some fun. Let's turn this around, and we'll see some cards. All right, everybody. This is part 1 of my SGC order that is getting ready to go out. So by the time you see this, it'll be back, and you'll get to see if I was right, wrong, or anywhere in between on this group of 20 cards. So I'm going to try to move through them pretty quick and give my best guess on what I think these cards are going to get graded by SGC. So first off is, we've been watching the channel. My son has started taking some interest in vintage football cards, and he recently had a cast on his arm, and I told him the story of Mean Joe Green, and he played defensive tackle in his first year of like Pee-wee football, if you will, this year. So he started picking up some Joe Green cards, and I surprised him with this rookie card. Now, this card I think looks great, but technically it does have some flaws. You can see at the bottom it's got a little white there. You can see at the top a little bit of white. It's centered pretty well. Corners are a little touched, but no creasing, no major things holding this card back. But I do think the edges being a little rough, and there is, I'll never get it on camera, I don't think, but yeah, maybe right there beneath his ear is like a little, like tiny little indentation. So I think that all together probably hold this card back. I'm going to hope for a 5. But I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back, like a 4 or 4.5. But let's say we're going to get a 5 on this. So Mean Joe Green. Next up, how about a 1969 Topps Johnny Bench, second year. My favorite Johnny Bench card. I just think it's wonderful. The Topps All-Star Rookie Gold Cup. I know a lot of people feel the same way about this card. And this is actually the second one of these I bought this year. I picked up one that I graded a while back that came back a 6, and I bought it for like $40. I think I gave $46 for that one, and I think I looked this one up. I gave $43 for it. So I've gotten a couple really good deals on some solid second-year Johnny Bench cards. This one definitely has a really pink back to it. But overall, I think a sound card. I don't think it's a little bit better centered than the 6 I have, but I think it's not quite as sharp on a couple corners. So I'm also going to guess a 5 for 1969 Johnny Bench. Next up, we've got a 1961 Roberto Clemente. And this is a beautiful card that I picked up raw a while back. I'm not even sure that I've shown. There's going to be some cards in here, y'all, that I don't think I've even taken time to show as pickups. But maybe I did show this one. But you can see it's pretty nicely centered for a 61. It does have a print line running down the right side of the face there that I'm sure will, get some demerits, if you will, from a technical basis. But overall, just a beautiful 61 Clemente to add to the collection. And I'll be ecstatic no matter what. It really goes for all these cards. The bench will be an extra. That might be a card that, I end up moving, trading, selling. But this goes right into the Clemente run. So I'm also going to guess, I don't know printing lines with SGC, how bad they'll hammer it. So I'm going to guess a 5 as well. So we got a pattern emerging of my guesses have been 5 so far. Now, the next card will not get a 5. I have shown this on the channel. I picked this back up at the Westport show in October when I got to hang out, with some of my hobby friends like Mike Jayhawker Vintage and Ross Loves Cards and Chris from Missouri and Mike Baseball Collector all were there at the show. So it was a really, really good time. Doug, Sports Collector, was there. It just there was a bunch of us there. We got to kind of pal around and hang out. And I picked this card up, which made it even better. It does have the wrinkle there on Campy's face and the corner up there as well. But centered pretty nice. The black is not too bad on the card. The back looks, pretty decent. A little bit of chipping up there in the red. Wrinkle's going to hold it back. I think Campy is going to bring home a 3, and I'm going to be very happy to have it. So next card, another Campy. How about this? This is a 1954 Bowman Roy Campanella it's a little dingy, like maybe there's a little bit of staining on it or something. That top loader too that's from the seller, not me. I'm not even sure what that is. Foreign object, foreign substance. But overall, a really nice copy of this card. I think maybe the staining holds it back a little bit. So I will guess a 4 on Mr. Roy Campanella in the beautiful 1954 Bowman. Picked this 1954 Bowman up from the same seller, and I think this one doesn't have the staining. Corners are a little bit more honest and frayed, especially on the bottom, but a really nice 1954 Bowman, Edwin Duke Snyder. So I think this one, 2 will be a 4, maybe for different reasons. I think the corners are maybe a little too honest there in the bottom to hope for more than a 4. But man, a beautiful card. Love those 54 Bowman. Next up, we've got one of my 1952 Gus Zernials. If you guys have watched my last video, you'll see my at this point, it won't be my last video. I forget about the time lapse. But at the time of recording, my last video was all about 1952 Topps. This is one of, 3 or 4 of these I have. I picked the best one. I do not want to send them all at once, because I don't want them to compete against each other. So I will break them up into other orders. But this is a card that it's on Mike Payne's 300 Great Baseball Cards. I want one for my 52 set and collection. But I want to get good grades on the other ones because I might move those to help, subsidize. That was a rather large purchase for me with the 1952 set. And I thought this was the best copy. It's pretty nicely centered. There's no major flaws. Corners decent, no creasing. So I'm going to hope for a 5 on Mr. Gus Zernial. A lot of 5s, hoping they come true for me. Along with that same purchase of 1952s, we've got the 1952 Topps Billy Martin, and great card. This one is, see if I can get some, it's got some divots on the front of it. It has, you know, the edges. It's got a wrinkle up there in the corner. It is definitely not the nicest of the group that I pulled out from the 1952s. I'm trying to cut down on the glare, but get it close enough for you all to see. So from a technical basis, you know, it's going to have some flaws with it, but I think overall it's a really nice card. But I think the surface of this really kind of drags it down. You can see it's got some, you know, wrinkling there. So I'm going to think a 2 on Mr. Billy Martin, but man, what a great card, and what a great 2 that I'll be happy to have. Now, I had picked up 2 of Mr. Duke Snider's 1952 Topps, all relatively close to one another. One I bought in a small deal with a seller on eBay, and the other was the large 52 Topps purchase. This is the one that actually came in the large 52 Topps purchase. I can tell because it's got a little bit of black that's outside the, you know, the line there, a little ink or whatever. But I'm going to send this one first. Again, I don't want this to compete against the other Duke Snider, so I will break them up, send them in separate orders. It is black back. A lot of these 52s are the black backs. So this is a beautiful card. I don't know exactly, you know, I don't know if things like a, you know, that little bit of print line there is really going to hold it back. So I'm going to say a 4 for Duke here. And if I got a little bit better than that, I definitely wouldn't be disappointed, and I wouldn't be super surprised. But we're going to say SGC 4 for Mr. Duke Snider. And the run of 52s continues. Here we've got a beautiful, God, I just love the yellow in the background. This 1952 Bob Feller, just a beautiful card. It is in, you know, relatively good shape, you know, at least for me. Some of y'all will be like, oh man, that's not that great. I want 6s and 7s, Joe. Well, I don't get too many of those. I get a lot of 2s, 3s, and 4s, and that's where I think this one is going to be in that range. I'm going to guess a 4 on it. You know, it's got some honest corners, but no major flaws to hold it back, so I believe this will be an SGC 4. Then we got this awesome, man, I love the red on this. The colors just pop on these 52s. So here's the 1952 Warren Spahn. This came in the large purchase of 52s. A little bit more OC, but it is a sharp, sharp card. Color is great. Registration is great. It is the black back. A little bit, you know, OC on the front and the back, both. I really think that this card can get a 5. So that's where I'm going to guess is we get an SGC 5 on Mr. Spahn. Next up was the big surprise in my 52s. I really didn't realize it till I'd sealed the deal that it contained a card number 1. All right, number 1 card in the first, what most of us would probably consider the first true top set, although I do love the 51s. This started something bigger, right, in this 52 set. And this was a happy surprise in there. I just could not believe it when, after I made the deal, I went back looking through the pictures, and I was like, holy cow, there's a really nice Pafco in that bunch. So another card that is just really, really nice. I don't see anything major holding it back. Surface looks good. So I don't want to get too pie in the sky here. So I'm going to say a 4. Man, I really wouldn't shock me if this was good enough to bring home a 5. We're going to test and see, you know, how much SGC's changed. I haven't sent an order to them in a few months, and I know some people are saying that they've gotten a lot more stringent. I know some people are saying they haven't. So we're going to put it to the test with this order for sure. Now here's the 63. We're going to go through some Willie Mays here. Definitely going to get some of my Mays runs slabbed up. So this is 63 Willie Mays that I bought back late summer, I believe. Got a really good deal on it. Feel like it's a really solid card. You know, it's got the corners, you know, are touched a little bit, centering a little bit off, but no creasing. No, does have that little weird thing on the edge back there, which I know some cards, seems like I've submitted cards that have that they, you know, almost like a rough cut that they leave alone, and others they seem to maybe kind of give it the demerits for that. I don't know if that black, I guess that's on the card or on the sleeve. But overall, I still think this is a beautiful card, and I'm really hoping for a 5 on this Willie Mays 1963. Next up is the 1959 Willie Mays. This card has one corner that is going to, oh no, I'm sorry, it's the one over here, that is going to hold it back considerably, I think, because it is a little rough. It's a little OC, but man, the registration, the color, it's beautiful. The image is beautiful. That corner right down there, that's definitely gonna, from a technical grade. Remember, I still love the card. I bought it. This is the one I want. This is my forever 59 Willie Mays card unless I find some smoking deal. So as I go through these and I talk about them, I'm not putting down my own cards. I'm just being realistic and talking about what I see when I, evaluate a card for grading. And so I think that corner is going to hold it back. I think this card's probably going to come back in SGC 4. Next up, we have the Baseball Thrills, the famous Mays catch makes series history. This is such a cool card, iconic moment in World Series history. And it's a solid card. Little OC, a little off-centered, but overall, really, really solid card. I hope that this card brings a 5. I'm really hoping that SGC 5. Lots of 5s I'm thinking in this one. I may end up disappointed. So, last Willie Mays to round this out is this 1954 Bowman Mays. You can see this is my third Bowman in here. A lot of 54 Bowman, a lot of 52 tops, and then some Mays. I waffled back and forth. I've got a stack of cards to grade, and ultimately I wanted to get these Willie Mays slabbed up. But there you can kind of see a theme in these cards. So centered, really pretty nicely. Registration's pretty good. I love this card. I wanted a copy of this. Didn't think this was going to be the copy that I was going to own. And I feel like I stole this card because I bought it for exactly $100, but it's because of that right there. It's got that paper loss on it. Usually I'd like to keep my paper loss cards to pre-war where things are more expensive. But in this case, I just couldn't pass it up. I told myself I'm going to it's one of those rare cases I really didn't try to snipe. I just put in a bid for $100. I thought if it comes to me for $100, I'm happy. But with that paper loss, as long as it doesn't get the dreaded altered, SGC is very stupid when it comes to the use of altered on their slabs. So as long as it doesn't get altered, I'll be fine. But I'm guessing that that's going to come back a 1. Maybe I'll get lucky and it might be a 1.5. But it is going to take a hit for that. How about my 1967 Mickey Mantle that I gave a whole $60 for a group of cards? One Ultra Pro page with 9 cards on it. He was dead center. I gave $60 for it. So this is not bad for a 60 Mantle. Centered really, really well. Does have some touch corners, but overall OC there on the back. But overall, man, I think that this card deserves a 5. We'll see what SGC thinks, but there you go. There's another guess of a 5. All right. Next up, another one of my deals that I found recently is the 1973 Topps Alkaline. And if you haven't watched my video on this, or either one of these, actually really good videos. Hey, all my videos, I love doing them because I get to tell you all about these stories. But this is a card that I picked up in a lot, didn't realize that it was even in there, and it is the Band-Aid Error. You see the Band-Aid there that did not get airbrushed out. So this is a rare version of this card that it's going to stay on my PC, but it does go for quite a bit of money, it's unbelievably so. But it is not a perfect card. You can see there in the bottom, the touch corners. Back has, some white on the corners, not real bad chipping. Sometimes those 73s on the back show the chipping. The centering is not terrible. I'm going to hope for a 4 on this bad boy, and we'll see what we see how bad they hit me on the corners, because the corners are really the only thing that's holding that card back. Next couple cards, this next card, I can't believe I had it this long. I think I had it waiting for me in the mail when I came back from the National, and I've managed to not send it off for grading, and I don't know why. But this is my 1940 play ball Joe DiMaggio. This is my, at this point, one and only playing days Joe D card, but I'm sure it won't be my last. And it was just a really good deal. I just couldn't pass it up. And it's got the Mike Petty honest corners. It's pretty rounded, but man, the surface is really nice. The image is still sharp. It does have, more toning. You'll see some that look a little bit more black and white. This one's a little bit more sepia. I don't know if that would hold it back on the grade. And then I really can't tell if this is a buildup or if it was maybe evidence of it was kind of tacked with a little bit of adhesive in that's just a eyelash or something, tacked up with a little bit of glue or something in a scrapbook. I don't know. So once again, as long as I don't get their stupid alter designation, I think this card can pull a 2. Anything above that, and you'll see a fat guy do a cartwheel, but I think a 2 would be a fair grade on this 1940 Joe DiMaggio play ball. Regardless, I'm like all these, I sound like a broken record, but I'll be happy to have every one of them. Now, this next one, I have not done a video on this, and I can't believe it. I haven't been doing videos. At this point, the time you're watching it, I may have done a video on it by now, but at this point, I have not. At your point in time, at this point in time, on November, whatever it is, 19th or 20th, I haven't done a video on it yet. By the time you watch this, maybe I have. But I picked this beauty up. It's 1953 Topps Willie Mays, the short print. And I got it for just an absolutely great deal. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise because I wasn't, looking for it per se. I definitely wanted it for my Mays run. My 53 Hall of Fame set may turn into a full 1953 set at some point now that I've got, the big cards and just need a few Hall of Famers. But anyway, I bought this. It does have some big issues going on. First off is this corner here, and I think one of the reasons I got such a great deal on this is the person selling it, they didn't know anything about cards, of course. That's kind of my bread and butter is I find those people that, they're just wanting to get rid of it, right? This corner was flipped up, exposing brown cardboard. Well, what had to be done is flipped down, but it's dang near paper loss. So I think that holds this card back the most. But then you've also got a little bit of a gash there on his hat. And you've got back down here, you've got, I wouldn't call it paper loss, but it's, rubbed off some color for sure. And then back here, that same corner that you see up here, it has a little bit there. So depending on how they hammer that, my realistic hope for this is to come back a 1.5. Anything above that, again, you'll see a fat guy doing cartwheels on YouTube. But let's hope for the 1.5. Would not be totally blown away if they give it a 1, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm off the mark and it'll do better than I think, but I'll be so ecstatic to have this. So there we go. Now, through the magic of time manipulation and, we'll do a little Wayne's World. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Now you're going to get to see how close I was on grades. Let's see how I did. All right, guys, time for the big reveal. And I'm excited because I haven't had a chance to do one of these in a while. So I will go through. You've watched hopefully the first part, or maybe you just skip through to this part. I'm okay with that. And I'm going to go through, fairly quickly and read off what I thought I was going to get for you all. If you watch the video, it's fresh in your mind. I had to go back and watch it and kind of remember what I thought these grades were going to be. And first up is my Mean Joe Green, or I should say my son's Mean Joe Green, or our Mean Joe Green for our collection. This is a rookie card that I picked up for him. Surprised him with it. I thought it was a solid card. And, like I mentioned in the intro, I was pleasantly surprised with some of these grades. I thought this was going to be a nice 5. And how about that? It brought home a 6.5. So I was pretty stoked about this. My son was pretty stoked about it as well. So very happy to bring home Mr. Mean Joe Green rookie card in a 6.5. Now, next up was the 69 Johnny Bench. It's the second copy I've picked up on a steal of a deal of this in the last year or so. And I thought this was the other one I graded got a 6. I thought this one was going to bring home a 5. Now, this is one that went the other direction a little bit, but not by much. 4.5, right? So no complaints there. About a 4.5. I was off by 1/2 grade on that card right there. Now, the next card, man, this here's a stunner, right? It's a beautiful card. It's got that print line. I get it. But otherwise, the centering, it's super sharp. I think it's great. And I thought this card was going to bring home a 5, y'all. Thought it was going to bring home a 5, and boy, was I wrong. It brought home a 7. And I am over the moon about this card getting a 7. Just can't believe it. But I'm not going to argue with it. Not going to argue one bit. How about my 53 Campy? And I think in the slab it actually shows the wrinkle a little bit more. But look at the centering, the color. Beautiful card. Was hoping for a 3 on this, but this was another one of those that went the other direction. Just a shade. And how about a 2.5 for this beautiful Roy Campanella? Next card up, another Campy, 54 Bowman. Definitely had some toning on it. Wasn't a perfect card. Got a really good deal on it. Well, it turns out, I guess, maybe some of that down there was something that maybe a kid or a collector did to it, because this got a designation that I've never ever seen before, authentic erased. So I went from thinking this card was going to be a 4 to instead getting authentic erased. So, you know, go figure on that one. Not sure. I guess I didn't look close enough, or just took some discoloration as, you know, discoloration, and it was man-made. How about my 54 Bowman Duke Snider? Man, it's just a beautiful copy. You know, this is going to make me sound like a hypocrite, but I really don't care what the grade says on the number on this, because that is just a beautiful card. I thought this was going to be good enough for a 4, and it's another one that I was off on a little bit. Came back a 3. But still yet, beautiful, beautiful copy. Happy to have it. We'll clear the board here a little bit. Make some room for the next round. We'll get into some 52s, right? And we start with this card here. Gus Zernial. This is a black back. I like how SGC does differentiate the black backs and the red backs. Several of my 52s are black backs. This is, you know, like I mentioned in the other video, Mike Payne's 300 Great Baseball card, just a cool image. And I thought this card was going to bring home a 5. Boy, again, was I wrong. This beauty brought home a 6.5. And I was ecstatic about this, right? Just over the moon. Next up was the Billy Martin 52. Now this one is one that I thought, you know, it definitely, you can see, it had issues, right? And one of the things that I kind of forgot about on it is there was a little bit of pencil writing there. And I don't think I mentioned that in my preview. But that definitely is going to hurt it. And it makes sense why they gave it a 1.5. But no complaints. Still a beautiful 52 tops. Billy Martin, one that I'm happy to have in the collection. Next up, how about another Duke Snider? This beautiful 52, again, a black back. One that I thought had a really good chance at a 4. Thought this was going to bring home a 4.5 or a 4, and it brought home a 4.5. So I was happy to be wrong yet again. You know, the ones that I was wrong on tended to go the other way. Like I was wrong, and they were better than I thought. How about Bob Feller? Beautiful color on this. Yellow background, really sharp card. Got a really good deal. Got a good deal on all these cards as I try to find the deals. Thought this card was going to be a 4, and again, 4.5. So, and they're loving me with the half grades, and I'm not complaining, because these are some beautiful 52s. Then we have this Warren Spahn. A little bit more OC, but another black back. Great color. Just great surface. Just a great card. And I thought that maybe Spahny here might bring home a 5. But I was wrong in the other direction. So I had, you know, Feller being the worst card, Spahn being the better card, but they were reversed in SGC's eyes, but not by much. Still a 4. Still a beautiful card. Absolutely no complaints there. And then how about my Pafko? Black back, little OC, great card. You know, I'd said I thought this was going to get a 4, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it got a 5. And it went right in the middle at a 4.5. So the number 1 card in the most famous golden era set that most of us grew up with, and I now own it in a 4.5. So super, super excited about that. So we will clear the board yet again here as we're getting down to the last part of my submission. How about 63 Willie Mays? Been, you know, there's quite a few Mays in this run, as you saw in the first video. Really been putting together as much of his run as I possibly can, you know, hopefully get back to those more expensive ones, you know, the 52 tops, 51 Bowman, whatnot. But I thought this card was a 5. You know, when I bought it, I thought it was a really clean copy. Thought I had a really good chance at a 5. And, man, again, I was wrong, because it is a 6. And, again, I'm super happy. I thought maybe that rough cut edge there might have hurt it. And maybe it did. Maybe that kept it from being a 7. I don't know, like the Clemente, but I'm going to take it. And we got this beautiful 59 Mays. I'd say stay tuned to my channel about some more 59 tops videos coming up soon after a purchase I made just this morning. But this right here, I thought it was a 4. Really thought it was a good solid 4. And again, they told me, no, Joe, this is a 5. So super, super happy about that. Next up was the Baseball Thrills. Mays' Catch. Solid card. Thought this was going to be a 5. This one went the other way, but not by much. 4.5. So no complaints. Very cool card about a historic catch. Then we had the 54 Bowman Mays that I knew, it had the paper loss on the back that I was dreading getting the silly altered designation. Really just hoped to avoid it at all costs. And I did. They actually decided, you know what, Joe, it is a high eye appeal card. It's got paper loss, but it still looks good. How about a 1.5? And I said, sure, why not? And we're going to make some room for the big cards in this submission. The bigger cards. They're all big cards, really all great cards in my collection. But this is the 67 Mantle that I got for a steal of a deal. Man, it's a solid card. I thought, you know what, I think this could be a 5. And I was wrong again. SGC said, no, Joe, that there is a 5.5. So I am not going to argue with them. I think they're right. And then we got the 73 K-Line Bandage Error. Just a great looking card. I was expecting this to be a 4. And I was wrong again, because I got a 5. So super stoked about that. And then how about this beautiful 1940 play ball Joltin' Joe DiMaggio. I love it. It's got the pennant down there. A little bit of toning, turned out to be just toning on the back. I was expecting a 2, but it looks like I might owe you guys a cartwheel because I got a 3 on this bad boy. Absolutely over the moon on getting a 3 for this card. Just absolutely over the moon. Now, the last card I failed to pick up, and I'm going to have to hit pause and splice this in one moment. So the last card that you saw in the last video was the 53 Topps Willie Mays that I thought, I was hoping to get, a 1, even an authentic. No matter what, I expected it to get slabbed, but they claim that this is too fragile to holder. And I'll be honest with you, I called them on the nonsense. I pointed out in the other video that it does have that paper kind of that's flipping up a little bit there, but I've taken this thing out of here several times. I understand that they don't want things in holders that are going to give them a bad reputation, but I just don't see this as a card that could possibly be considered too fragile to holder. I reached out when they first gave it the designation in the app. It took me the entire order was almost back in my possession before Tyler from SGC reached out. And I respectfully went back. I said, hey, listen, I understand you're protecting your reputation. But I sent him a picture of this card. And I said, I just don't think a good decision was made. I'm waiting for the response. In his original email, he said, oh, you can submit it again. And I might do that, or I might just try submitting it with another company at this point. Because even though this card has issues, it's still beautiful, and I want it to be slabbed up and protected. I just don't see the too fragile to holder. So this was a huge disappointment, but I alluded to that in my intro video that, even though this was a great order overall, it did have some disappointments in it, including one big disappointment. This is the big disappointment, so, but what can you do? We'll see. We'll get them next time, right, Tiger? So thank you all for tuning in and watching this. And it was a little bit longer video, but I had some great cards here. I ended up doing very well in this order, and really looking forward to continuing to use SGC, hopefully in the future, but we will see how it goes. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and remember, let's keep it a little redneck out there.